I know some of it's probably game flow a little bit, but we've seen an uptick in under center usage over the last couple of weeks. Why is that, and what are the benefits of it for you guys?
Yeah, just a little bit of that is just the way the game is played out, and different situations that happen in the game. I think we've had some big leads here the last couple weeks that probably make that number balloon even more. But it's good to just be multiple and some different things, but still do what you do well. And I think we've had a lot of success being in the gun, and also can have some success here under center. Different personnel groupings give you some different under center opportunities as well. And so, yeah, I think it's a little bit of everything.
We'll go to Jeff and then John.
Hey, Nick. Jalen used the term that the offense was kind of trending forward, but not quite there yet, and still putting pieces together. Where do you think the offense is in its evolution right now, and what are some of the things you think still need a little bit of work?
Yeah, I think it's trending forward for sure. Like Jalen said, we've had a nice last couple games, where we've had some production, and yeah, I think you're always a work in progress, and you're always working on continuing to figure out things that you do well, and continuing to you know repeat those things. And so I think it's just all. I think the things change week to week. Again, we talk a lot about our identity being tough and being physical and playing with high detail and playing together as a team. I think scheme things change week in, week out based off of a lot of different things. And so I think that's just constantly evolving and constantly taking different shapes and different forms.
We'll go to John and then Chris.
Hey, Nick. You kind of mentioned yesterday more than identity, you were mentioning habits a lot. Do you get like a sense that the team is where you want them habit wise, or is that like a constantly evolving process?
Yeah, I think that that's constant. It's constantly evolving. You're trying to establish your habits each and every day, and go through your process each and every day. And I think what we know, or I know we know, is that you are going to be what your habits are. If you work hard on tackling, and you work hard on catching the football, then you're going to succeed at those. You have a better chance of succeeding at those things. And so we just want our habits to reflect, our with the way we play, with our effort, and to look like that in practice, the way we look with our physicality, the way we look like with our detail. And so those are the things that we're talking about is, the habits that you create. We feel like you're gonna play how you practice. And so how important practice is for us. And so we're just trying to your culture is what your habits are. And so we're just trying to be our habits at each and every week.
We'll go to Chris and then Martin.
Afternoon, Nick. When you're looking at Quinion and Cooper, why have they been so successful this early in their careers? And did you guys expect them to have this significant roles this early?
Again, when you draft guys, you have high expectations for every guy that you draft. But things kind of play out as camp continues on, and I think these guys have given us confidence in them since the day they've gotten here. I know Coop had a head setback with his injury, but as he was able to go, they've given us confidence in him, and so I think that it's not a surprise to us because we see it every day at practice of who these guys are, and so excited about where they are. Excited about where they're going. They got to keep working every day. We know we're only as good as our next game, which is the next one coming up against Jacksonville. But excited about their skill set and who they are. I think these guys are ultra competitive. The moment's not too big for them. They're going against one of the best wide receivers in the NFL yesterday, and they didn't blink. Got a lot of respect for who they are and how they work.
We'll go to Martin and then EJ.
Hey, Nick. One of the things Jalen mentioned yesterday in regards to DeVonta, having the one catch for -2 yards against the Giants was there are a lot of mouths to feed. And then for DeVonta to come back like he did yesterday, what kind of sacrifice does it take on guys like DeVonta, AJ, Saquon, even Jalen, knowing that, this week, a particular week might not be their week as far as touches are concerned, and to kind of like accept that and to appreciate that.
I think first and foremost, every week we go into every game plan like, how are we going to get these guys the ball? And so you don't really know that it's not going to be your week until the game's going on and the flow of the game happens. And you might not, and even then, like you might need a big play as the game continues on. So sometimes you don't even know that the week's going to play out like that until the game's over. Then you have some ideas of how they might double guys at certain spots and this and that. And so I think, that's the first thing. Like you don't know as the week leads up, and so everyone's preparing the way they are. But then I think it takes great selflessness. Being a team, right, is fighting for each other, is celebrating together, being selfless, and understanding that sometimes it's not going to be your turn that week. And all that matters is that we win. Like, I think what DeVonta, talking about DeVonta, like he changed the game other ways last week against the Giants. It just wasn't when he was catching the football, and then he's able to come out and change the game, with the ball in his hands this week. I just think it says a lot about our guys and their selflessness of being able to roll with the punches and play the next play and know, there's going to be some times like that. I think, it was nice to get DeVonta the game that he had yesterday, and I think it showed up in many ways, right? You saw him make an unbelievable touchdown catch with in traffic on a jump ball. Jalen put a great ball on him. We had great protection, and Smitty went up and got it. And then I love the third down conversion by DeVonta on the little sideline pass there that Jalen put out there for him. And then, DeVonta, I showed this in the team meeting today, DeVonta lowering his shoulder and getting the extra yards needed. You don't see that a lot with, a guy who's on the sideline. You see a lot of guys will step out of bounds, but DeVonta is so tough. And the reason I say that is because he is so physically tough, but he's mentally tough too. And there are ebbs and flows of the season. You're going to have wins. You're going to have losses. How do you respond? You're going to have games where you have no catches. You're going to have games where you have, however many he had yesterday, 6 for 86. And so, that takes mental toughness to be understand that. And he's not only physically tough, but mentally tough. And all those guys have to be in that same boat with him, and they are.
Thanks.
We'll go to EJ and then Zach.
Hey, Nick, I was curious with some of the wrinkles that you guys have added to the run game in the last couple of weeks. Like, what's it been like behind the scenes with the coaching staff, especially like Kellen and Stout, I guess, coming up with some of those things and kind of like collaborating to come up with those concepts?
Yeah, I just always think about a game plan week of how that goes and how much work it takes to get to that spot, right? If first it takes the quality control coaches and the assistant position coaches and the position coaches coming up with, breaking down the tape and organizing the tape. So, and then it gets to the whole staff where they're all, everyone's sitting in there and talking about what's the best way to attack. So it truly is just like this game, a true team game where it takes all parts to come up with a plan. And some guys have specialties. Hey, you're in charge of the red zone, you're in charge of the third down, to kind of put that stuff together. So yeah, it's exciting because we play the greatest team sport there is, and that doesn't stop on the field, right? That's down to every part of this building, and all all the things that go on to shoot, all the PR guys and Bob and his staff that have helped me get ready for this interview and the next one. I think 10 interviews probably this week, so just to get ready for all those. But so it's like that. I know you asked about Kellen Stout and the offensive staff, and it's like that with the offensive staff. It's like that with the defensive staff. It's like that with Howie and his staff, and then Howie staff intertwining with the coaching staff. And so it's just an ultimate team game in every aspect.
We'll go to Zach and then Ruben.
Hey, good afternoon, Nick.
Zach.
Speaking of Howie's staff, if you look at your trade deadline history, there's been mixed results there. How does that affect the way you view the trade deadline, number one? And number two, what sense do you have of the necessity for external fortifications here?
Yeah, I love the team that we have, and I think this team's really coming together. With that being said, I know, we're always looking for ways to improve our team, and I know Howie's one of the best at that, of always looking at ways that he can improve the football team, and I admire that and value that of how he goes to work there. And but like I said, love the guys that we have. I think we're coming together really nicely as a team, but we'll see how this next week plays out.
And yeah, the first part of the question, as far as your history with midseason acquisitions, how does that affect the way you look at it?
Yeah, each year's different. Each year's, again, like I said, every way we can make the team better, I'm always up for that.